You can say that we're continuing to explore the nature of divine psychology. Rabbi Levine knew and had experienced conflict, pestilence, and famine before he moved from his homeland of Poland to take up residence in the fledgling state of Israel. But even there, the young people were rioting in the streets. There seemed to be no peace. But Rabbi Levine was a man of very great humility and compassion. And he would often visit those young people who had been incarcerated in jail because of their riots. Or he would embrace those who had suffered so greatly in their lands from which they came to settle in Israel. But besides this, Rabbi Levine was greatly devoted to the holiness, the sacredness of the Sabbath day. And in this small suburb in which he took up residence in Jerusalem, nearby a very busy and famous market, he endeavored to create an enclave of peace and harmony in his synagogue. And to this end, he went to all the storekeepers in the area and asked them not to open their doors on the Sabbath day, to enable an aura of harmony and peace to pervade that sacred day. And all of those storekeepers in that area did so, except one. One storekeeper who was not particularly religious, was intransigent, refused to close his store on the Sabbath day. Now Rabbi Levine pleaded with him from time to time to do so, but the storekeeper refused to do so. But then one day, on the morning of the Sabbath day, Rabbi Levine got up and put on his Sabbath clothes. But instead of turning right towards the synagogue, he turned left and made his way to the store of this storekeeper. And when he entered the store, to the storeman's very great surprise, Rabbi Levine said, may I stay a while? And so the storekeeper, feeling very honored to have this great rabbi with him, immediately went and got a little stool for him to sit on. And Rabbi Levine sat on his stool, not saying a word, as he observed the people come and go to buy cigarettes and sugar and butter and the other staples of life. And then after about an hour and a half, Rabbi Levine got up and thanked the storekeeper and went on his way. He had not gone to the synagogue on this Sabbath day. But the storekeeper was very perplexed. He could not understand. And so the very next day, he went to the rabbi's house and he said, Rabbi, I have to ask you, why did you come to my store and not to the synagogue yesterday? And Rabbi Levine said, I wanted to see with my senses and feel with my heart your situation. And you know that I've many times pleaded with you to close your doors, but it must be said that I will never do so again. But that's not the end of the story, because the very next Sabbath day, that storekeeper closed his store, and from that Sabbath day onward, his doors remained closed. What is this divine psychology? And how, for you, does this story perhaps illuminate what it is that's meant when it's said we have to be divine psychologists? What does this story mean relative to our inquiry, the nature of divine psychology?
It's like he, it's like experiencing what the man or what the person feels, and then it must change something, so then they want to experience what you're experiencing.
Okay. And looking, as has been said, that we have had to embrace becoming divine scientists, divine physicists, and divine alchemists, which is nothing more than experiencing, as we have, what is described in this story as a conflict, the pestilence, the famine, translated into those experiences that we've had that have allowed us to be able to call ourselves divine scientists, divine physicists, divine alchemists. Life, the ingredients of life, the experiences of life, the emotions of life, which can be summed up in conflict, pestilence, and famine. Isn't it so for ourselves? To now be able to look beyond this divine psychology, another realm. Is it outside of creation and existence? What is this psyche that we're exploring? And having embraced those levels of existence, acknowledging our experiences of conflict, pestilence and famine, to put us in this place, is it humility and compassion? How would you describe it? Again, we're asked, what is your relationship with life now? Rabbi Levine embraced life with the rioters with those who suffered. But what is it that allows us to claim being divine psychologists?
Well, part of it has to be not having a judgment or an opinion on what the other person or what anybody's doing. I mean, that's part of it, isn't it? Of not having that opinion.
Yes.
And then, I don't know, going and feeling their emotion of what's happening in their life and then not having an opinion
Right.
about it.
I wanted, as in Rabbi Levine's word, I wanted to experience with my senses and feel with my heart where you are. Does this give us a clue? Feel with our senses, with our knowledge and our heart. Translate this from this story.
Tao. It's the Tao. The more we are within the oneness of life, then the alchemy occurs.
Thank you.
Another way of